Welcome to the Conscious Publicist Podcast, a space where thoughts become ideas to advocate for a more conscious human experience in the media. Our thoughts and ideas inspire action, and the most notable leaders and organizations have transformed thoughts and ideas into global initiatives that have impacted the lives of millions. My name is Ashley Graham, and as a woman-owned business founder and publicist, I guide leaders, visionaries, and creators in discovering their conscious media voice and methodologies that inspire connection, community, and impact through aligned media channels. In this podcast, we'll dive into public relations, thought leadership, business, and entrepreneurship, all through the lens of being a conscious human being. I'll take you behind the scenes into the habits, thoughts, and modalities that have helped leaders shift past paradigms of limiting beliefs, comparison, and self-doubt to show up for themselves to become the subject matter experts they were called to be. Subscribe to the show on Apple or Spotify and join us on this journey of awakening the conscious, enlightened leader within you. I am working on a new initiative that I am very excited about. I should have a more formal announcement for this initiative here in the coming weeks, but this initiative is an affirmation to my drive and motivation to continue to share a different narrative. I've mentioned with the Conscious Publicist podcast that my biggest inspiration is to shift a different narrative around how to be a better thought leader, a better conscious leader, a better advocate for initiatives that people are passionate about. But this new narrative that I am bringing to this new initiative just takes that to a whole new level. I had mentioned this recently on Instagram that I look at my reflection of myself as a multidimensional, multi-passionate, and multi-hyphenated individual. I truly believe that I can do it all, be it all, and achieve it all, obviously with the right support and with the right guidance. And this new initiative is just taking that drive even further. Without going into too many details, because I don't want to give the spoiler away just yet, I want to continue the conversation around different types of modalities that we can do in order to get from one version of our lives to this next desired reality of our lives. I talked about in my last episode the 55 by 5 manifestation method that I have also started to apply to a new manifestation that I desire for 2024 since recording and publishing that episode. But there are other modalities and other spiritual things that I do that keep me in this frequency and in this energy of knowing that as an expansive person, I can achieve and tap into an abundance of opportunities that are available to me if I allow myself the right headspace, the right guidance, the right mindset, the right love and attention. If I give that all to myself, then I really can achieve it all. And so I want to talk about some other modalities that I incorporate to keep me inspired, to keep me connected, and hopefully pay that forward into tangible ways that you can also apply these modalities to have the same outcomes or to have the same achievements or to have the same mindset around knowing what truly is available to you. Following the inspiration from the 55 by 5 manifestation method is the modality journaling. I have been a consistent journaler for years upon years. I also, as a young gal, was a diary owner many times. But one of the things that I love about journaling is it's a way to tap into your voice and your thoughts and your emotions at a whole new capacity than just sitting and reflecting with your thoughts, your perspectives, your emotions, and so on and so forth. For those of you who have also read the book, The Artist's Way from Julia Cameron, I used to do morning pages every single day for a year straight. And One of the takeaways from the artist way, specifically around writing morning pages, is it's a way to decompress and downpour all of your random thoughts from the day prior as a way to reset for the day ahead. One of the things that I loved about morning pages was not only downloading or transcribing all of the thoughts and emotions, good and bad, from days prior, but it also was a really good practice to tap into my dreams that I had that I felt had significant meaning, or just goals and aspirations or main focuses that I wanted to focus on for the day ahead. Now, journaling and morning pages are one and the same. So, regardless if you want to just focus on journaling as a whole, or if you want to set a habit and routine to do morning pages, both are very effective. Whether it was morning pages or just journaling randomly when I felt called to journal, one of the other things that I love about this practice and this modality is the ability to go back and reflect on old words and old pages from older versions of myself. I had actually wrote about this in an article that I published quite some time ago, more so around just tapping into greater senses of creativity. And journaling was one of those examples. For me, journaling is a powerful tool for sparking creativity because, as mentioned, you write down your thoughts, your emotions, your voice to gain a deeper understanding of yourself and your perspective of the world around you. But it's also a way to look back on your old perspectives, your old voices, your old words, your old emotions to reignite a newfound clarity around that version of yourself, which I believe it does open new insights and inspiration for the present and future version of yourself, but also creates these anchor points in time to show where you once were, to reflect on where you are now. I always love tuning into this past, present, and future connection of our journeys and how we can do different modalities to bridge this connection to tap into those versions. I have a fun little practice for you to take away from this part of the episode. I like to do an intuitive practice where I will go to a local boutique or a store nearby that has stationery and journals, and I will intuitively feel into picking a journal that resonates with different chapters that I want to write about. Now, I have a number of different journals for different seasons of my life. And the most recent time that I had felt into this intuitive practice was actually a year ago from this month. I had picked up a journal from Morgan Harper Nichols. And the journal that I felt called to was a beautiful journal that I picked up at Target that had the words on the cover, "You are worthy of new beginnings." Words of affirmation. That is my love language. And you'll often find journals in my office or in my altar. If we're going to say altar, you'll find journals that usually have really beautiful sayings or words that connect with who I am or connect with the journey that I am embarking on. So, this one is something that really spoke to me, but it is just a nice, thick journal that has really good bones to it as well. So, if you want a fun practice, I'd say go to a local store, like I mentioned, and just intuitively feel into a journal that is speaking to you in that moment. While also reflecting back on my early journaling days, it was always nice to have journaling prompts or writing prompts to help me get into the flow and expansion of journaling. So, I have a couple of writing prompts that I think would be really beneficial to share just to spark some inspiration. So, the first prompt is more so around gratitude journaling because I believe that there is a lot of feel good emotions and a lot of clarity that comes from transcribing moments of gratitude. So, a few prompts that I have around gratitude for you is number one, write about three things that you are grateful for today and why. Number two would be to reflect on a recent positive experience and describe how it made you feel. And number three is how can you cultivate a mindset of gratitude in your daily life? I think those three are very unique in their own way to tap into not only gratitude but then also give you a moment to reflect back on these different experiences that can bring some light in your life. A second prompt is around self-reflection, and here are three prompts to take away to journal on self-reflection. Number one is, what are your current thoughts and feelings? Take a moment to check in with yourself with this question, and you can write as little or as much as you want, whatever feels natural for you, run with it. Number two would be to describe a challenge you're facing currently, and what did you learn from it, or what are you learning from it? And number three would be, what are your short term and long term goals, and what steps can you take to achieve them? And then lastly, a writing prompt around creative expression. Again, leaning into what I had mentioned, that I believe journaling can bring a lot of clarity around tapping into greater levels of creativity in whatever facet of creativity you're needing to tap into. And so, three writing prompts for creativity would be number one, choose an inspiring quote and write about what that means to you. Second would be to create a list of things that make you feel joyful, peaceful, or inspired. And third, write a letter to your past, present, or future self to express your thoughts, feelings, and aspirations. My last little note for journaling as a modality is journaling really is a personal practice. So you can adapt and expand and evolve this modality in whatever way that aligns directly with you, your comfort, your creative expression. And ultimately, the key is to be as consistent and transparent and as vulnerable as you can to explore your thoughts and emotions and your perspectives, your opinions, your experiences, your journey through the wonderful modality of writing and journaling. The second modality that I want to talk about today is meditation. Meditation is a very interesting modality in the sense that there is no right or wrong way to meditate. And the more research and more experience that you have around meditation, the more you realize that there are probably dozens upon dozens of ways to meditate. They're just not what you commonly know as meditation. The definition of meditate or meditation, thanks to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, is meditation or to meditate is to engage in mental exercise, such as concentration on one's breathing or repetition of a mantra, for the purpose of reaching a heightened level of spiritual awareness. You can also think of meditation as the act to project in the mind based on an intention or a vision of a purpose. Basically, meditation is to focus your thoughts to reflect on or ponder over a very particular thought, experience, or reality, in my perspective. One of the unique perspectives that I have on meditation is it is not necessarily an act or a practice or even a modality. The thing of it is we as human beings with our conscious awareness of ourselves and life moving around us is we are always brought to particular moments of reflection naturally. And given that definition of meditation or to meditate is it's all around reflection and sitting in contemplation. As human beings, I feel that our conscious thoughts and our unconscious thoughts are always in a perpetual state of reflection or contemplation. And so I feel that we naturally meditate just given our connection to our mind and our thoughts. But the reason why I wanted to talk about meditation as a modality is there is a particular practice or a number of different practices that you can take that pondering or that reflection so much deeper in the sense as to where I believe the spiritual aspect of this practice is described in the definition of meditation or to meditate. To put that perspective into simpler terms, I believe just given the human consciousness, we meditate naturally given natural evolution of thought and reflection. However, there are different forms of meditation that aids into this connection of becoming a conscious modality to bridge a deeper connection into this untapped frequency or untapped energy that expands when you take meditation into deeper levels, given these different types or forms of meditation. I'll share an article that I wrote in the show notes talking about the different types of meditation and how to find the one that is best fit for you. But to dive into some of my go to favorites, the first one that I always feel myself gravitating towards is mantra meditation. Now, mantra meditation involves repeating a word or phrase or chanting that word or phrase in order to focus the mind on the desired reality of that word phrase, or what I also like to look at as a declaration statement. What I love about mantra meditation is I find some really incredible mantra affirmations on Insight Timer that have a beautiful rhythm or sound underlaid the words. So that way it becomes an auditory experience with both words and music. I think that's another reason why I love meditation so much, just given the auditory experience of meditation, is you can listen to binaural beats or different frequency and hertz based music to trigger the mind, body, and soul to connect with the music. And in this case, as well, the mantras that are being said in certain meditations. So, with all that said, I'll just dive into again my kind of go to meditations around mantras is I do have a number of mantra meditations bookmarked on Insight Timer, which is my favorite meditation app. And when I am either getting ready in the morning or I'm on a drive, I'll usually stream a mantra meditation in the car or on my phone to listen to as I'm going about my day. This is also a perfect segue into two other forms of meditation that I feel I blend in conjunction with mantra meditation, which is transcendental meditation and visualization meditation. The thing is about different forms of meditation is I feel that they can all be blended together into one very expansive experience, but there also are incredible experiences that can be had with focusing on one of these meditations as the main practice or modality. Talking about transcendental meditation is it's using a specific sound to achieve a deep state of relaxation and stillness, or what I also like to channel is an out of body experience or an ascension type experience. To put this into more digestible terms, is transcendental meditation is the practice of listening to particular type of frequency music, similar to what I mentioned with the mantra meditations that I listen to on Insight Timer, is you can just meditate listening to different frequency or hertz based music to achieve a really deep state of relaxation or stillness or calmness while meditating. Some of my favorite hertz that I like to listen to is the 777 hertz frequency music, but I'll also listen to 222 hertz music or 1111 hertz music. It really just depends on the type of frequency and sound that it is that you're wanting to listen to. Some of the other Hertz type music that I've listened to in the past that were really incredible were brown noise and green noise, which is basically a version of static sound that has this really calming effect on the brain and the mind. And so those are really incredible to listen to as well. The thing is, going back to the experience of focusing on transcendental meditation, one of the reasons why I love transcendental meditation as a modality itself, outside of overlaying that with mantra meditations, is you are allowing your mind to go into what I like to call the void. You are not allowing your mind to focus on particular words or how the words like to trigger a certain vision or a visual in the mind. With transcendental meditation, it's almost like your mind goes into this void of static, like you would if you went to a radio station on the radio that had no sound. It was just picking up static noise. That is some of the experiences that I've had with transcendental meditation, which is very incredible. This often triggers different clair senses within my energy and within my aura, which opens up a whole new level of experiences into spirituality, but then layers and levels of consciousness, which I'm not going to go into in this episode. But again, that's why I love transcendental meditation is there is no experience that is triggered by a thought or a vision. It just is what it is. And I get really incredible senses and guides and images and visuals through just allowing myself to ride the waves of the experience. Lastly, the other meditation that I feel like I am pulled to often is visualization meditation. Now, visualization meditation involves creating a strong mental image, such as a place, a version of yourself, a desired outcome, and focusing your mind and energy fully on that image. When it comes to thought leadership, I always like to bring this back full circle to the main impact topic of the podcast, which is visualization is an incredible modality to visualize your journey as a thought leader. I have used visualization meditation in a number of different seasons of my life, in a number of areas of my life, but I find myself always incorporating visualization meditation when it comes to my content, my story, and my journey as a thought leader. And I know that this practice can be incredibly expansive for those who are also pursuing a path of thought leadership. An incredible takeaway for visualization meditation is you can actually blend visualization meditation with your journal pages as well. And a practice that I like to do is if I have journaled on an experience or an area of my life or an experience of my life that I've wanted to call in, after I've written those pages, I'll take some time to sit and create more of a visual image of that journal transcription to create an intersection and connection between the words and the vision itself. But also blending that into some of the other forms of meditation is you can almost create particular mantras based off of your journal pages or your visualization, and then create more of a verbal declaration of that as well. And then if I was going to continue along on the spectrum, you can then listen to a Hertz frequency or a sound that brings an auditory vision of that vision and that journal transcription into this very expansive picture and experience for yourself. I think that's one of the reasons, amongst all the others that I've shared, that I wanted to talk specifically about these two modalities in a episode of their own is it's finding different ways that you can get out of your everyday physical self and tap into this other version of yourself that is very expansive and brings energy into this new found reality that you want to experience. It also is an incredible way to tap into creativity, as mentioned, but it also just allows you to energetically reset and then tap into this energy of play and exploration and a sense of wonder on what you can achieve and what you desire. And it allows your mind and your body to think big and expansive. That wraps it up for the modalities that I wanted to highlight in this episode. And now I want to turn the microphone over to you. If there are any modalities, whether spiritual modalities, consciousness modalities, or whatever modalities that you feel align with the parallels in the narrative of the conscious publicist, I'd love to hear from you. I am always looking for new practices and habits, routines, modalities to integrate into my life. And so, if you found a modality that has worked for you, I would love to learn from you and hear from you and how we might be able to bring that narrative to the podcast.